Hi, good morning, everyone. So, as I was walking in this morning, I was asked, what is the occasion? I mean, this is my almost 5-year-old grandson. Why are you dressing up? Because he's used to seeing me going to office in a golf shirt. And, uh, and I said, no, I'm giving a speech. He said, all right, what is that speech? I didn't know it was a holiday, and it meant that I am supposed to answer all his questions. I said it is about cloud. He didn't understand. Then I tried telling him AI. He did not understand. Then I tried telling him that, you know, how people who create toys, how do they design it? Now that's where he started getting some interest. Then I started talking to him about, how you connect the dots. I started telling him about the language that he understands. And to him, ultimately, it became very clear that his understanding was very clear that I do. That means he himself, as a almost 5-year-old, he is the one who designed it. He is the one who joined the Lego toys. He is the one who now in his imagination makes it run, and he in his own ideas believes that these new words don't mean a thing. Ultimately, if the thing is functional, if the thing is giving you some joy, some result, then you're doing something meaningful. Ultimately, I think I saluted to that 5-year-old and I said, you're damn right. Yeah, it's a toy, it's a car, it's a Lego toy, whatever you want to call it. And yes, it makes sense. And then I was reflecting on this young kid's curiosity. And then I said, listen, the world around us has changed from the time me and Neeta Verma were growing up. The world around us has changed is that when she was the Director General of NIC, and I was a friendly salesperson coming and calling on her, I mean, there was a product which she knew she wanted, and there was a process that I had to follow if I wanted to be qualified. Now, what has changed around us is that new definitions have emerged. The new definitions that have emerged are around you in a dynamic world. Go back into 2025 itself. How many events have taken place? How many executive orders have come in? How many times have you seen some of the things that you assumed and took for granted are changing? Now, if all of that is true, and if the technological advances are true, and if the world around us is changing so fast, what would I go back and tell that 5-year-old when he becomes a 10-year-old? What will I go back and tell him when he becomes a 15-year-old? Number one, that entrepreneurship is the key. It is not the cloud or AI is the key. Cloud and AI are tools. One day we had data centers, second day we took the data to the cloud. The second day we harnessed the data to give you artificial intelligence. We gave you neural intelligence, and we are now trying to give you a level of automation where the humanoids will become part of the reality. But they are all tools. So, for a moment, I want to pause and say, 20 years ago, if anybody had asked any one of you, many of you were still too young, for somebody would ask me 20 years ago, and asked me what the world would look like in 2025, I wouldn't have been able to give the right answer. Because all the science fiction that we read has now suddenly become obsolete. So reality is that same question that when people ask you for 2045, you will have to exercise your own imagination. And that imagination may be wild, may be totally wrong, or may be totally right. Maybe Elon Musk is right that the life will be on Mars. Maybe somebody is right that, only things you hope will not change is lived experiences, your grandmother's food, or maybe there are areas which gave you simple joys of walking barefoot or running around barefoot. Those are the joys that will not change. Everything else around us may change. So why am I asking you to reflect is because I know that what has changed between 2005 and 2025. In 2005, there were no student entrepreneurs. You had entrepreneurs who probably set up a Zomato, but they came out of school and then they set up. Now today, 30% of the class that I address says they are entrepreneurs or will become entrepreneurs. The times when I go to the universities and colleges, I actually am taken very proudly to the entrepreneur labs. It doesn't matter which policy. It could be Atal Foundation, it could be any other foundation. And some of the universities like IIT Kanpur or colleges, I don't know whether they're universities or not, or IIT Bombay, I get a feeling is 50% of the class is entrepreneurs. Now, that to me is what I call the future of India. Because no matter what happens, the entrepreneur will continue to demonstrate their agility to master a cloud, to master an AI, and look at opportunities where other looks at a doomsday scenario. Last 48 hours, I ended up giving 4 press interviews. And what were the press interviews about? Is it a doomsday scenario that President Trump has imposed this $100K in a way a tariff? And I smiled and I looked at it and I said, listen, all these years people said brain drain. Now when there is a brain drain being reversed, you guys are not celebrating. Look at all the newspapers, look at all the media. Number 2, when I spoke to these journalists, I said, listen, during COVID, those 2 years, same IT industry delivered every project sitting at home. What did it develop? It developed resilience, it developed security, it developed a new way of working. Even in a chawl, companies like ours had to give a computer and give a table and somehow find a space, even design a curtain to make sure that a software engineer is able to work and deliver in secure environment to a customer sitting in Ireland or in Iceland or in US. Now, this is what I see looking at the opportunity. And that is what you all are bringing to the table when you come for Entrepreneur 2025. When Gaurav and Sachin asked me to chair the jury for Entrepreneur 2025, the only reason I accepted with a huge enthusiasm is I said, I will get a chance to learn. And trust me, those guys who are going to stay back through the day and who are going to meet all the winners, you will realize how much have those individuals contributed to the build-up of this country. And think about it, we really started focusing on entrepreneurship only in the last 10 years. Not that we were not entrepreneurs. I mean, the Kerala to UAE spice routes, or all the Gujaratis landing up in Uganda, or all the farmers landing up in, and doing all the almonds out there in San Francisco. All of this is the true story, where, like the old, kahavat, the Hindi saying was, when I was growing up in Rajasthan, jahan na jaye railgadi, wahan jaye marwadi. Right? I mean, there was this other one who said, Sardar or Aloo, world mein har jagah milte hain. But the point was again that we as individuals are happy that technology has come here to help us. We as individuals now know how to harness the technology a lot better. Each one of us who goes to the airport sees this application called Digi Yatra. And we all say, oh, India is advanced now. My face has become my recognition. And think about it, that how government has collaborated with a Section 8 company to create something which an airline recognizes, which an airport authority recognizes, CISF recognizes, immigration authorities recognize, that means the Homeland Security recognizes, and we are confident that we will be able to retain and keep that data clean and will not allow it to go to wrong people, and we will also not misuse the data. Now that is what you hear when you see Digi Yatra. It's not only the convenience, it is how many other parts of the government are able to work together. Now, if this is just an example, I know we have all seen the applications or the called India Stack. We have all seen what new opportunities it has created. But to me, again, the most important part is people. People, their ambition, their reality, their resilience, and their capability to harness the technology to be able to meet the requirements of the future. I think that's what you entrepreneurs bring to the table. And I'm glad that during the day when the award ceremony takes place, while you will see some of the success stories, but believe me, behind that, there are so many other success stories which probably will, come in and we will be able to greet them either through the walk around the halls here, or people like Punita Kapoor will write in their magazines, or maybe they will be the winners in 2026. But I am very, very encouraged. So when somebody says H1B is equal to 100K, I only see the positives, I see the opportunities. And opportunities is not only about people coming back. Opportunities about GCCs growing in India, opportunities about offshore becoming even more important, opportunities about nearshore capabilities, opportunities about India being able to educate. Think about it. All these $1 trillion market valuation of American companies, how much has India contributed? Can you visualize a Facebook without hundreds of millions of subscribers in India? Can you visualize an Instagram without those 200 million subscribers in India? Can you imagine a Google without 1 billion subscribers? So if India is adding value to an American corporation, I think either it's time to highlight or we start creating a TikTok or an Instagram or a Facebook or an Android operating system right here. Because it is not that we did not create those systems. The fact is that the labs in India are now producing IP for some of those American companies. Maybe it is time. So when I saw a tweet from, and God knows which tweet is, real tweet or not, because this WhatsApp University, I haven't had time to go and re-verify it. I saw a WhatsApp this morning that Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has said he will stop using any other overseas email system or, and that he is going to use the local, office productivity tools from Zoho. That means he's not going to use MS Excel or MS Outlook. I mean, if it is true, I genuinely want all of us to give him a big hand. Because I think we need to make those visible signs that we will not only develop our own technology, we'll use it. I mean, what is difficult for us to make an Instagram equivalent? If we can send a spaceship to Mars, why can't we do our own equivalents of whatever we are doing? So I think as an entrepreneurs, look at the opportunities. The opportunities are immense. Whether you do a new ecosystem, whether you replace an ecosystem, or you create and define a new ecosystem. And to me, cloud and AI are enablers that we will have our own LLMs, we will have our own infrastructure, we will have our own roadways or infrastructure roadways. I think that is no longer a restriction. Our imagination is a restriction. And my request to all of you is, it's not that we are the only ones who have thought like this. Remember 10 years ago, somebody challenged China. What did they do? They told China that their companies cannot even get the Android operating system. We take an Android or iPhone for granted. They created their own operating system. And that operating system, if I go to Middle East today, you know the biggest selling phone? The most expensive selling phone in whole of Middle East is a trifold from Huawei. And trifold, no other company has even, no Samsung, no Apple has got a trifold. And it runs on their own operating system. Now, that I think is what we as entrepreneurs need to do to create new technology. And I beg all of you to, on one day, when you look at a Zomato was probably an imagination of somebody saying, if Domino's can deliver pizza, why can't I deliver food? I want all of us to start now saying, what is it that any other company in the world does? Why can't we do it ourselves? And I promise you, you have the tools, you have the whole ecosystem, whether it is financing, whether it's marketing, whether it is people to consume, you all have it. I think if you have to give that advice to somebody 20 who is going to be, asking you what is it that you need to be prepared in 2045, my request is be an entrepreneur, remain an entrepreneur, behave like an entrepreneur, and make sure that you keep challenging what is around you. And I do believe that whether it is 25 or 2045, we will always be successful. Technology is here to assist us, and I'm glad that I am one of the people who is requesting you that do apply for 2026 awards, because many of you will not only deserve it, but many of you will break some of the existing rhythms that the deep tech can only come from one other part of the world. I think deep tech will come from here. You guys have proven it in applications. Now let's prove it when we start Deep Tech Awards, and we would like to recognize people in 2026 who are the champions in deep tech. So thank you guys. Thank you for inviting me here.